Let's see if we can't find the stream. Hopefully it isn't too far away. There it is there. Yeah, audio is working as it should. Stream's up, chat's up, we're all good to go. That is fantastic. Just gotta wait a couple minutes, folks. Still got a few more people that need to join the lobby. 4 to be exact, according to the attendance. Once they do, hopefully within the next couple of minutes, we'll get underway. But for now, just chill out. Wait for everything to begin. There's Wing It. What are we missing? The News 1 and the 2 Alfa Romeo reserves of Raptors and Chase. That should be it. If they find their way into the lobby, we can get qualifying going. Some people still don't have invites yet. Hopefully backup invites are sent out as well. Someone DC'd. Who was that? Don't know, I didn't quite catch it in time. Someone DC'd from the lobby. There's the moon. Oh. Someone DC again. Who was that? I don't know, everyone appears to be hitting. That might have been... Seems some people are having trouble staying in the lobby. Emmett was the one. Must have been Emmett. The other guy with the DC with mindset. Okay. There's Emmett. Hopefully this will not take that much longer. We were meant to have 17. 2 reserves have not shown up. I think mine said it's just joined the lobby. We'll see. I think he's in the house, if I recall. No? So what? Just lobby settings updated for no reason. Okay. Cool. You would think as a prerequisite, right? If you say yes, I'm available to race, that you'd be prepared to join the lobby as soon as it comes up. You'd think, right? Every single league that I am in, and probably all the leagues that I'm not in as well, always has a few people that aren't on standby for some reason. Even though they're checked in, ready to race, they know the start time, they know they have to be in the lobby as soon as possible. They're just not there on standby, ready to jump in. It's the same thing everywhere, and I don't know why people do it. "17 said, yeah, we can race, we're going to start with 14. Okay. Well, it seems that Mindset's Xbox is a bit screwed. Got a cooling issue, it keeps shutting off. It's not good. So yeah, I think we're going to start with 14. One reserve wasn't able to make it, and at least they notified. That's the other thing. Some people just straight up no-show. They don't say anything like, oh, I had something coming up, or as it turns out, I can't actually join, or something. Someone DC from the lobby again. Chase just joined up, and someone left. Who left? It looks like it's Emmett again. Williams driver DCing from the lobby. Oh, looks like this is going to be a bit of an issue as we head into qualifying. Let's get the show on the road. Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're competing at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. After its construction in 1978, this racetrack has been the sole representative of the Canadian Grand Prix for the past 50 years. It's gained a reputation of being one of the most exciting circuits we go on in the Formula One calendar. Races here tend to be unpredictable and at times chaotic. Unsurprisingly, it's not too different here in the virtual world. The circuit measures up at 2.71 miles. It consists of 14 corners and 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 8, and the infamous final chicane known as the Wall of Champions. Drivers can even try and pass into the tight hairpin of Turn 10, but even with the plethora of overtaking opportunities, drivers still need to qualify well and gain as much track position as possible. But before we touch on qualifying, which appears to be dry, there is a little bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Austin. Now, only a single incident report from what I was able to check, an incident between Emmett and Kryptonic. No further action for the collision, so no time penalties were dished out by the stewards post-race. That means the final finishing positions remain completely unchanged. In the Drivers' Championship, it is Vermeulen leading the way on 80 points. He has a whopping 30-point margin over the recently departed Barmer 22. Silkweaver is still in third, just 1 point behind Barmer, who was on 50, compared to Silkweaver on 49. In the Teams Championship, Mercedes are leading the way by a huge margin. They're on 122 points, followed by AlphaTauri on 57 points. Yeah, it's a huge margin. McLaren are next. They're on 51 points, 3 points behind AlphaTauri. So yeah, with Vermeulen leading the championship and Schulz in P4, Mercedes look quite untouchable in the Teams Championship. Still got a long way to go, but that's a hell of a margin after only 4 rounds. Now, we've got a couple of cars out on track, the first of which is Kryptonic in the Haas. I was hoping a Ferrari would be out on track right now, but not yet. I wanted to show off their tribute livery to their recent victory at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It was quite a race, not going to lie. Watched a fair chunk of that. And to see a Ferrari win that event for the first time in 50 years, yeah, it's a pretty freaking cool moment. And it's nice to see that the F1 team paid tribute to that last weekend at Monza, and they've obviously brought it into the game for all of us to see. So that's really, really cool. Mr. Kryptonic is about to begin a flying lap. We're going to ride on board with the harsh driver, give you a tour of this 2.7 mile racetrack. Down the main straightaway, he'll cross the line to begin his flying lap and head towards the left-hander of turn 1. Definitely a potential overtaking spot here. If we head around the small hairpin, that is turn 2. Bit sideways at the exit, but he keeps it under control as we head into the chicane of turns 3 and 4. Very easy to get it wrong through here as we head around the right-hander of turn 5. Up towards the second chicane of turns 6 and 7. Have to be careful here through turn 7, though you don't get too eager on the accelerator. You could lose control of the back of the car and hit a barrier. We head towards the turn 8, 9 chicane, chucking it in. Cutting a little bit of turn 9, you can cut a bit more. You have to be careful though to not cut too much, otherwise you will invalidate your lap time. Into the hairpin of turn 10. You try and dive bomb down the inside here. But ultimately you're better off waiting as you exit turn 11, that little kink, that left hand kink. Around the small kink of turn 12, yes, that's the corner, that little kink. And we head down the casino straight into the wall of champion chicane, turns 13 and 14. Slightly redesigned in F1 23, the chicane comes at you a little bit sooner compared to previous titles, as Kryptonic sets the benchmark 1 minute 11.644. Bad Fuss makes his way out of the wall of champion chicane and DCs promptly from the session. Mr. DK Nortec just set a time at 12.1, I think he said, but he invalidated the lap. Evidently, he invalidated it through the wall of champion chicane because this lap that he's currently on is also invalidated. Wingett's about to get ready. You can see how easy he takes it through that final chicane. You really do not want to screw up there. And the thing is, it's so easy to screw up there through the wall of champions. Oh, that's a bit of a distraction there as Wingett makes his way out of turn 2. The Alfa Romeo of Chase making his way out. Out of turn 4, heading up towards turn 5. Wingett's invalidated the run. So, yeah, this is going to be a very common trend between just about everybody during qualifying. So many areas around this racetrack where you can cut that little bit too much or run that little bit too wide and invalidate a flying lap. Red Devil making his way through the middle sector up towards the turn 8-9 chicane. You can definitely try and pass through here. It's very difficult to do so. It's quite a fast little complex, turns 8 and 9. Very difficult to go side by side through. Bit easier here down at turn 10. In years past, before DRS was introduced, you definitely would have said that was the best overtaking spot on the circuit. But with the sheer power of DRS these days, you're better off waiting until the long straightaways than slipstreaming past on the straights. Up towards the line now for Red Devil. Will he beat Kryptonic? Yes, he will. 1 minute 11.2 exactly beats Kryptonic by 4.5 tenths of a second. Warren on a lap. Purple apparently to the first sector. Nice and steady out of turn 7. Interestingly, he used third gear. I think that's a little bit too low for turn 7. If you get too eager on the accelerator and a too low a gear, the car breaks into wheel spin. Wheel spin equals no grip. No grip means you're going to fly into a barrier. So you're better off using something like fourth gear through there. Uses first gear. Outside of Monaco, I don't think I've ever seen anyone use first. There you go. First gear, right there. At the turn 10 hairpin. Through the wall of champion chicane. Turns 13 and 14 on the racetrack and up towards the line. Warren will set a 1 minute 12.740, currently slowest of all so far. Mr. Duval making his way out of turn 7. Down this back straightaway of sorts, heading towards turns 8 and 9. Entry speed of 192 miles an hour. He cuts way too much of turn 8. Yeah, he cut it so much he invented a new corner. It's best that you don't do that. Alright, championship leader Vermoo is about to begin a flying lap. Mike ride on board. Let's take another tour of this 2.7 mile racetrack. Down into turn 1, round turn 2, third gear. Getting back on the power. Eventually reaches full throttle as we head towards the turn 3-4 chicane. Down to 5th gear. Keeping it in 5th all the way through the complex. Round turn 5, that's the first sector as we head into the turn 6 and 7 chicane. 4th gear. Up to 5th. The RS Open 6th gear. 7th. Into top gear. Entry speed of 194 miles an hour. Apex speed of 109. Incredibly fast through turn 8. Into the hairpin at turn 10. Hard on the brakes. Bringing it down to 3rd gear. Clipping the apex. Good rotation, good stability as well as he heads around turn 11 and up towards turn 12. DRS Open. Shifting it into top gear. Building up to a speed of 207 miles an hour. 4th gear. Flat. Wow. That was incredibly fast through that final chicane, crossing the line. And what do you know, he takes provisional pole position. 1 minute 9.580. Absolutely annihilates Red Devil. Only driver in the 9 so far. Shows you what commitment can do. You go that quickly through that final chicane, you can find a lot of time. Here's the tribute livery that Ferrari made and Codemasters decided to put into the game. It is quite nice. Nothing too over the top. It just features the yellow stripes that you find on the 499p hypercar. Yellow numbers as well. It just works, you know. The yellow on the exposed carbon fiber really pops out. Something I wish they did, that rear wing Ferrari logo. It's white and it's great. It fills in a vacant space, but I wish it was yellow. I wish it was that Ferrari yellow. Yellow on black just pops. It pops beautifully. I wish they did that. They did that for their retro design last year, 2022, and it looked gorgeous. I wish they did the same for this year as well, but they didn't. They just left it white. It's not bad. Like I said, it fills a hole, and it's needed. But I just wish it was yellow. It just pops so much more with the exposed carbon fiber. Now, Saint is making his way into the turn 8-9 chicane. More than likely the only rival to Vermoo, as Schulz has jumped to the top. Oh, gee whiz. Saint sideways through the hairpin at turn 10. Yeah, Schulz has jumped to P2 with a 1 minute 10.8. Yeah, there's a serious margin between Vermoo and the rest of the field. See what Saint can do. He evidently lost a mountain's worth of time at turn 10. Can he jump up to P2 perhaps? No, it's going to be P3 though. 1 minute 11.014. There's a few tenths off Schulz in P2, and he knows he can find a whole heap of time at the turn 10 hairpin. Wingham making his way through the 8-9 chicane, up towards the hairpin at 10. Ready on the brakes here, bring it down from 185 miles an hour down to an apex speed of 42. Imagine that, decelerating 140 miles an hour in the span of about 100 meters. As Mr. Mindset has joined the session, well, it'll be interesting to see how long he can stay in. Through the final chicane, 5th gear. Oh, bit of a wiggle on the exit. As Wingett heads up towards the finish line, sets a 1 minute 11.341, just a couple hundredths off Cam Tizzle in P6. Mr. Duval getting ready for a run. Mindset has joined the lobby. He's in his Haas. It appears that he does have cooling issues with his Xbox, so we'll see how long he's able to stay in the lobby. Meanwhile, Mr. Red Devil saving up his battery. He must have been on a flying lap and validated the run, so he's cooled the tyres down. He's recharged the batteries. He's going to have another go at this. Meanwhile, Mr. Duval yet to set a time, making his way towards the turn 3-4 chicane, 5th gear. Nice and tidy from the McLaren driver as he heads up towards the first sector split. 19.9 is the time he does in the first sector. Exiting turn 7, heading down the back straight away towards turn 8. Get on the brakes hard, bring it down to 4th gear. Back on the power. Bit of a wiggle, but he keeps it out of the barrier and within the white lines. Meanwhile, Red Devil beginning a lap. He's up by 2.5 tenths of a second, so he's already looking at a 10. As he makes his way down the back straightaway towards the turn 8-9 chicane. Mr. Duval, only 2 corners left for him. They're 2 very, very tricky corners, though. Through the wall of champion chicane. Back onto the main straightaway, up towards the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 11.051. It's a little bit behind Saint in P4. Red Devil, he has lost time in the middle sector. Less than ideal for the Williams driver. Qualified on the front row last week at COTA. He'll be looking to replicate that here in Montreal. Has he found time in the final sector? The answer is yes. He jumps to 4th with a 1 minute 10.918. It's a little bit behind the reserve driver Orlando. He was out on track. He'll make his way into pit lane though shortly. Mindset has invalidated this lap. Tell from the red track map in the bottom right. Not using any battery. He might go back into pit lane, put on another set of tyres, or we'll recharge the batteries a little bit and have another go. Wait and see. Kryptonic going very slowly into the pits for some reason. Mr. Duval is going back in as well. Nortec has invalidated this lap. Chase just improved, I think, to a 12.3. Currently P11. Still 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. And Mindset goes back into pit lane. That's something I haven't quite talked about just yet. That pit lane entry is quite notorious for catching drivers out. It's very easy to speed into that pit lane entry because of how fast you're approaching it. Building up to a speed of about 210 miles an hour. You have to slow it all the way down to 50. I think it's an 80 kilometer per hour speed limit. It should be. So you have to decelerate to 150 miles an hour. And, yeah. You brake that a little bit too late. Nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do to stop yourself from getting a speeding penalty. Chase is going back in. Nortec an invalidated lap again. You can see he's just cooling the tyres down. He's recharging the battery. He'll have another go. We got just under 3 minutes left in qualifying. Still got drivers waiting. We got, I think that's Cam. It is Cam leaving the pits. Currently P7 with an 11.3. Got Schulz out on track. He's heading down the casino straight. Getting ready for his final run. Making sure his tyres are nice and warm. Ready for this run. He'll turn on the battery shortly. Here we go. Through the final chicane. Back onto the main straightaway. Turns on the battery. He'll begin what could be his final flying lap attempt. Down into turn 1. Braking hard, down to 3rd gear, down to 2nd as a matter of fact. Dropping it, oh hello, that is a stopped Silkweaver at turn 2. Right in the middle of turn 2. What the hell was that? Why was he... And evidently that distracted Schulz enough. He's invalidated this run. So he's going to cool the tyres down just a little bit. Maintain 100% charge, and he'll have another go. That is so peculiar. Silkweaver was literally in the middle of the racing line at turn 2. Not quite sure how you pull that off, but luckily he was ghosting. It wasn't a huge accident or anything like that. Thank goodness. This track is dramatic enough as it is. Orlando beginning a flying lap, currently P3 with a 10.8. He's making his way around turn 2. Using traction control, I can see. No way in hell you can stamp the throttle that easily out of turn 2 like that with TC off. As he heads up towards the first sector split, he's down by 37 thousandths of a second. Red Devil has invalidated this lap, and he doesn't have enough time to do another one, so that's it. Red Devil's done. The best he can do is P4. See how the other drivers improve, if they can improve. Cam Tisle is around at the exit of turn 9. He's got enough room to turn that car in the right direction and get going again. Shouldn't impede anybody. As Orlando leaves the hairpin at turn 10, he'll head down the Casino Straight. Schulz is up by almost a tenth and a half in the first sector. Vermeer is getting ready to set his final lap as he crosses the line with 5 seconds left on the clock. To turn 1, fourth gear, modulating the throttle well. He drops it down to third. Gets back on the power. Eventually reaches full throttle as the Red Bull gets well out of the way. Orlando jumps to P2 with a 10.6. Schulz is up by 0.4 of a second as he heads on to the Casino Straight. Saint is up by 32 thousandths to the first sector. He'll head up towards the middle sector split. What does the clock say for the Red Bull driver? He's up by 0.2 as he heads around the hairpin at turn 10. Lot more stable around the hairpin than what I saw before, as Schulz jumps up to P2 with a 10.3. 2 corners left for Saint. Famous Wall of Champions chicane. Chucks it in, fourth gear. Hits both apexes, keeps it out of the barrier. Up towards the line for Saint. It's going to be a 10.4. He jumps to third. But no one's challenging Vermeer. As he heads through the final 2 corners and back onto the main straightaway, he loses control of the car. He'll cross the line to set at 10.2. He does not improve. He doesn't need to. He takes pole position for the Canadian Grand Prix. The only driver in the 1 minute 9s. Lucky enough, we were able to ride on board with him for that entire lap. There we are. Qualifying done and dusted here in Montreal. It's a Mercedes 1-2. Haven't said that in a long time. Vermeer, pole position, 7.5 tenths in front of his teammate in P2. Saint P3, followed by Bad Fast in 4th. Orlando 5th with Red Devil P6, followed by Mr. Duval, then Cam Tisle, Wingett P9, followed by Nortec, who rounds out the top 10. We have Kryptonic P11, followed by Warren in 12th and Chase in P13. Mindset did not set a lap, neither did Silkweaver, down in 15th position. So that's the grid heading into the race itself. I haven't got any messages in regards to the weather, so I'm going to assume it's dry. But yeah, there's a clear, outstanding favourite at the front of the field after qualifying. Dry. Thank you very much, Mr. Duval. Alright. Yeah. Well, that's a funny thing with Montreal. Out of my time commentating, I've probably seen more wet weather races here than any other racetrack. Or at least mixed condition races. They're always here in Montreal. Dry races can be interesting too, thanks to the fact that the pit lane is so short relative to a lot of other racetracks we go to. It'd be quite curious to see if the two-stop would actually be viable. Maybe a soft, medium, soft strategy or something like that. It's been a while since I've done a race here, so I don't know off the top of my head. But considering current trends with F1 as of late, the one-stop probably is the go-to. Probably medium, hard, medium, either or. Usually that's about the only way you can go in these races. Even at a racetrack like Montreal, There's a relatively short pit lane that you can get through pretty quickly. I mean, you cut out the final chicane, you cut out turn 1 and half of turn 2. Yeah, free stop all the way. But, yeah. We'll wait and see what happens. Drivers will be fine-tuning their setups and strategies, trying to work out between themselves. Like I'm working out what's better, 2-stop or 1-stop. Trying to work out how much fuel you need in the car. I mean, Montreal, it's a pretty chaotic place. Decent chance of a safety car. But as we know with this game, you can have a massive pile-up somewhere, and all that the game will display is just yellow flags within the sector. So, you know, there's a decent chance for an accident, but there's also a decent chance when an accident happens, you don't get a safety car. So, just waiting. Waiting for everyone to ready up. There we go. Yeah, that sounds about right. Deathstorm. The game is very the game is very predictable when that kind of stuff happens. When you have like a 4-5 car pile up and all it brings out is a VSC. You know, I've seen it enough times that, yeah, you just accept it. Equally, I've seen drivers break a front wing and the safety car comes out. So, yeah. It's just how the game works. It's something that we all have to deal with. Yeah. In terms of tyre details, and what do you know, everyone's on mediums or hards. We'll run through the order just quickly. We got Vermeulen starting from pole position on the hard compound tyre. Not terribly surprising. Considering his pace, he should be able to maintain the race lead and keep a gap to those behind even on the hard tyre. Schulz alongside him, P2. Fair enough, split the strategies up. It probably worked quite well. Saint P3 on the hard tyre. Then with the following 4 cars, Bad Fast in P4, Orlando in P5, Red Devil in P6, and Mr. Duval in P7. They're all on the mediums. Cam Tizzle P8 on the hard tyre. Then we have Wingett in P9 on the mediums. Nortec in P10 on the mediums as well. Next 2 cars, Kryptonic and Warren in P11 and 12. They're on the hards. Chase in P13 is on the mediums. Mindset, who retired during qualifying, is on the hard tyre. Silk Weaver, who was 3rd in the championship, is starting from the back on the mediums. There's a possible race strategy. So, lap 18 to 26. That's a really, really big window to get off the hards and onto a set of mediums. So, I'll be curious then to see how many of the medium runners go for a big undercut, knowing that the hard tyre can last quite a while. And we know how powerful the undercut is in this game. Alright, we'll get rid of the tyre graphic for now, just to open up viewing space. Vermeulen with the inside line heading towards turn 1, so even if he gets a bad start, he can send it into the opening left-hander to try and hold on to the lead. All 15 cars are lined up ready to run. We got 35 laps to go here, and it's lights out and away we go here in Montreal. It's a nice start from Schulz in P2, but again with that inside line, Vermeulen can't hang on. Schulz round the outside. He takes the lead heading into turn 2. Saint in P3, followed by Mr. Duval in 4th. He's had a terrific start. Orlando 5th, followed by Cam Tizzle. Wingett with the inside line at turn 3, trying to fight Warren. It's tight, but they get through just about as they head around turn 5 and up into turn 6. Wingett round the outside. He now has the inside line here at 7. Gets in front of the Red Bull. Warren in 8th place. Tries to look down the inside, heading towards turn 8. Sends it in, gets in front. Nice move. Red Devil sees an opportunity to get back by. He moves into 8th position. Wing it down to 9th. And now Nortec has the inside line, heading into the hairpin. Takes 2 for 1 at the hairpin, as a matter of fact. Nortec moves through. Oh, there's a huge car park exiting turn 10. They get it sorted, just about. Nortec up into 9th place. Kryptonic into 8th. Great move from him to find his way through. Oh, as they head through the wall of champions, someone's making their way into the pits. It is Bad Fast in the Aston Martin. A terrible start for him as he just straight up retires on the first lap. Well, ain't that great. Ain't that swell. Red Devil moves through Kryptonic. That's for P8. So we head through the turn 3-4 chicane. Gee whiz, Weaver and Mindset. Mindset drops down to P13. He backs off completely. Oh, he's wheel to wheel with Chase. Chase round the outside takes 13th position. Mindset going terribly slowly for some reason. Not sure why. Silkweaver gets by Nortec. That's for P10. We head into the hairpin. All this drama happening in the midfield here in Montreal. Bad Fast leaves the session as well. His Aston Martin parked up at turn 3. Red Devil closing in on Warren. Not by enough, though, to try and pass here at the Wall of Champions chicane. Great start from Warren. From P12, he's moved up to P6, the most out of anybody. Silkweaver's done well, too, up 5 positions. I noticed immediately Mr. Duval shot up into the top 5 after lights out. He's moved up from 7th to 4th. Nice aerial shot here, looking down at the racetrack. Looking down at the lakes, hidden within the middle of Ile Notre Dame. You can see the St. Lawrence River. Very nice, very, very nice. Just adds a bit more to the immersion of this racetrack. It's quite nice. Oh, close enough to pass here. Yellow's out. That's a McLaren. It's a Wingett going slowly. Must have made a mistake, I guess. Yes, you can tell he's got a broken end plate on his front wing, so he'll have to come in and get that fixed. Orlando moves by Duval. That is for 4th position. Red Devil gets by Warren. Same spot. He moves into P6. So a neat little train forming here. Red Devil at the front of it. Wingett into pit lane. There's a speeding penalty. Alluded to it. And no! Hello! Cam Tizzle. He's off the racetrack and drops down to P9. Kryptonic had nowhere to go. He was balked by the slow Ferrari. And Silkweaver found his way through. So he moves into 8th. Yeah, I alluded to it during qualifying. Very easy to speed here in Montreal. Down the inside looks Nortec. Doesn't fully commit to the move. Might see a change in the lead here. We got Schulz out in front on the mediums, followed by Vermouth and Saint on hard tyres. We know how quick both Vermouth and Saint are, so it's not a terrible surprise that they're going this quickly. Wouldn't be surprised either if there wasn't a massive difference between the mediums and the hards. Here comes Vermouth to take the race lead. Down the casino straight and into the Wall of Champions. There we go. A new race leader. Sector 2 yellows. That is Wingett. Oh, Vermouth! I know you're a champion, but gee whiz. Don't throw yourself into the damn wall. Alright. So Wingett now a long way behind. Gone going. No obvious wing damage on that McLaren. Schulz trying to hang on to P2 here. Through turns 3 and 4. There's Orlando and Mr. Duval. They're not too far behind as Silkweaver carving his way through. He moves up into 7th, overtaking Warren. Here's your battle up at the front. Vermouth almost putting it into the Armco at the entry to turn 8. Like, I'm all for using the full width of the racetrack, but you shouldn't be driving silly. It can really bite you in the butt if you're not careful. And launch straight away. Orlando, looking pretty pacey right now in that Ferrari. Mr. Duval's hanging on as well in 5th place. So we've got a leading train. Be curious to see how long this train remains in formation. Orlando getting closest of all to the Wall of Champions. Yellow's out again. It's wing it again. And once again, it's at turn 7. Again. 7/10 is the margin between the top two. That's cutting a lot. That's cutting too much from Schulz. 3-second time penalty. We're going to see a lot of those over the course of this race, by the way. Sideways into turn 6 is Vermouth. The back end stepping out, but he keeps it under control. Oh, don't do it then, Deathstorm. You probably pass out with the amount of shots you take. I love comedic timing in these races. It's good fun. Yeah. Oh, hello. We have a yellow. That is Mr. Nortek. Bringing those out briefly. He now has Chase hunting him down. Speaking of hunting him down, Schulz not giving up. Oh, that's a terrible run, though, through the final chicane. Here comes Saint down the inside into turn 1. Oh, locking up the front left there, heading into the first corner. But Saint makes the pass work. Ooh, a little slide as well. Chase and Nortek, what do you know? Oh, Nortek's in. Well, I mentioned earlier, you could go for a massive undercut. He has front wing damage, so he kind of has to come in now. Ooh, that's weird to look at. There's a weird layering issue with the mechanics putting the wing on. It made the mechanics look transparent. You can see the front wing. Yellow's again. It's winged again. Hello, Marshals. How are you doing? Oh, Saint! Saint's around. We have a virtual safety car. Oh, careful. Back the car up. Back it up. Back it up. That's a good lad. Oh, wait after this Ferrari, then you should be good to go. Oh, yeah, you can see the broken front wing just right there. To the right. Oh, it got knocked. Chase hit it. There we go. Got going eventually. But yeah, it seems that Saint had a whoopsie-daisy at turn 9. Broke his front wing. He'll come into pit lane and get that fixed. Meanwhile, double stack at Mercedes, but they're taking the opportunity to pit for fresh rubber. Well, that's a bit of a safety car? Why has this evolved into a safety car? Excuse me? Why? Did someone else break their wing? Hold on. That's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Wing it? Yeah, that's fine. Why did that evolve into a safety car so late? There you go. Yeah, correct, Mr. Destorm. This has saved Saint. New front wing on that Red Bull. New medium tyres as well. Let's have a look at it. Changed onto what? Well, this is gifted everyone who pitted during this VSC period. These guys towards the front, they don't really gain anything in terms of track position because they're going to have fresh runners right on their gearbox. So they've got a choice to make. You either stay out and try and hang on to the track position you've got, or you pit and you basically go to the back. I'm curious to see who goes with what. Because logic sort of stands to reason. You kind of have to pit. I mean, you've got a free pit stop that you can make here. You might as well take it. Orlando's taking it. Warren, Kryptonic, and Cam aren't. Okay. Don't really understand I mean, they're screwed either way, in all reality, because everyone on the hard tyres can go to the end from here. Vermeer's going to have an interesting time on those mediums, but I reckon he'll make the distance. Mr. Duval on the soft tyre, well, yeah, that's interesting. He pitted off the hards? Question mark? Mediums. He did not pit onto the hard tyre. Perhaps a two-stopper. Right there. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yes, Warren is indeed leading. Kryptonic in second and Cam Tizzle P3. All of them yet to make a pit stop. Everyone else behind has made at least one stop. Get rid of the graphic for now, just to open up the viewing space. As you may have noticed with a couple of camera angles here at Montreal, that massive freaking leaderboard covers up parts of the racetrack. So I need to be on my toes and know when to remove that leaderboard so then we can actually see what the cars are doing. Alright, Mr. Warren, it's down to you, sir. Control this field. He takes off through the final chicane. Nicely done, that is. And now Cam under pressure. That is Wingett behind in the McLaren. He's on fresh tyres, a lap down. Oh, and what the hell was that? Oh, Wingett just peeling off the racetrack, making sure he gets to the back. Well, that's awfully gentlemanly of him. I got really scared then. But he was actually trying to be courteous and getting out of the way of those who are on the lead lap. I don't see a lot of people do that. That's very gentlemanly. And quite smart, really. He got well out of the way, made sure he didn't impede anybody. Nortek's off the track. He's mowing the grass. He's passed by Orlando around the outside. Saint moves through, so does Mindset. Yeah, very strange way of doing it, I agree. But effective enough. It just scared the daylights out of me. I thought we were going to have an accident. Mr. Duval down the inside of Red Devil. He's also down the inside of Mr. Oh, Schulz contacted into the wall. Duval is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. And we have another safety car. Well, you wouldn't really think a collision like that would result in that much damage. But it has. Mr. Duval is out. Well, them's the brakes, I guess. Them's the wall, I guess. Gee whiz. How does that destroy the front left of the car? That's what I'm most perplexed about that. Like, a broken front wing, sure. But that destroyed the front left of the car. How does that destroy the front left of the car? I've seen people floor it into the wall at over 200 miles an hour and they get nothing. But that happens and it destroys the front left. Yeah, that's a fair enough point. The move not past the top three yet. Be interesting to see how this all unfolds at the restart. Sorry for you, Mr. Duval. It really, like, the hooking up, yeah. Just that hit into the wall, I didn't think it would be enough to retire you. I had a suspicion when you locked wheels and saw your car sort of turn across the front wing of Schulz. I imagine, yeah, there's probably going to be a broken front wing at the end of this. But it destroyed the front left. Completely destroyed it. That's some nice information. Hard to softs. I mean, no, why not? Especially if the safety cars time themselves well. that strategy may work. But ultimately, he's a pit stop behind, as well as Kryptonic and Cam. They're a pit stop behind everybody. And yes, the pit lane is short, I've mentioned that, but you still lose time. You lose a solid, I don't know, 15, 16 seconds. So that's something you've got to try and make up. Soft tyres will be rapid, though, at the end, especially with a light car. Yeah, no, it'll be fascinating to see how all three of them sort of play themselves in regards to strategy. And with every safety car, that helps Vermu and Saint on mediums. It's less wear and tear that the tyres have to go through, so they'll be hopeful for a couple more safety cars. Plus, if there's a well-timed safety car, they can just pit in and put on another set of mediums or a set of softs right at the end. Alright, it's down to Mr. Warren to control the field once again. Again, get rid of that, just to open up viewing space. Lovely jubbly. Leaving about, making sure his tyres are nice and warm. There goes Bern Maylander, bouncing his way towards pit lane. Alright. Thank you for the follow, Brovibot, as Warren takes off through the final chicane. Here we go. Down the main straightaway. Crossing the line. Beginning lap 13 of 35 here at Montreal. Vermu hasn't found a way through just yet. He's got traction though. He's got the racing line. He's got the horsepower. He gets in front. Vermu's into third. Through turn 3, round to... Oh, Lando, what's happened? Oh, collision, around goes the Ferrari. And into the wall, I think, briefly there. He might have just kissed the barrier. He drops down to 12th as a result. Yeah, going side by side into a chicane usually doesn't work. And there's evidence of that. So Kryptonic down to third. Got Red Devil and Silk Weaver battling each other. I did notice they were side by side into the next chicane. Oh, Red Devil punts the red car and he ran, and around goes Cam Tizzle. He drops down to P6. Doesn't drop any further though. Silk Weaver now moves up into 4th. Saint moves up into 6th, overtaking the Ferrari of Cam. Oh my goodness me, these guys can't keep off each other. Down towards the Wall of Champions chicane. No passing through here. No, sir. Saint hangs on to his... Oh, and into the wall! Cam's out! He slams into the barrier opposite to the Wall of Champions. There he is there. He's done a Magnussen. Well, and there's a safety car. Here we go. We're down to 12. At this point, Wingert, although he might be a lap down, may finish in the points at this rate. Oh. That's funny. Oh my goodness. We're down to 12 and Wingert on a lap behind everyone else. Could finish inside the top 10. Deary me. I wonder, will any of the drivers pit? Like Warren or Kryptonic? They're still yet to make a pit stop. Will they pit now? We're closing in on the halfway mark and... yeah, Warren's in. Yeah, fair enough. Kryptonic's in too. So what are they pitting on to? Mediums? Hards? Chase with a 3-second time penalty? Warren onto a set of mediums and Kryptonic doing the same. Fair enough. The other drivers in too. So we got Wingert in, Orlando's in. Wingert's put on 3 lap old hards. He'll be able to go to the end of the race on those. Ah. So now it's Vermoo who leads. Jules with a 3. Dude, there's been 2 of them. Stop getting time penalties when the safety car is out, please. Yeah. Yeah, the famous Wall of Champions. 1999 Canadian Grand Prix. And Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, and Jacques Villeneuve all hit the same wall in the same race. And we've had a few other champions hit that wall as well, if I recall correctly. But yeah, that's how this corner, or this chicane, got its name. That wall right there with the Canadian GP on it. That's the Wall of Champions. Yeah, it'll be a pretty good race to go to. Montreal, in real life, tends to be a pretty good place to watch a Grand Prix. It tends to be quite exciting here. So, I'd recommend it. A lot of F1 personalities usually consider this racetrack as a top tier one because of the races it can produce. And this one's been pretty chaotic so far. Will the drama continue, or has it all just died off? Can we now get to the end drama free? Yes. Yeah, the circuit was renamed in 1982 in honor of one Gilles Villeneuve, who, yeah, lost his life during a qualifying accident during the Belgian Grand Prix. Alrighty. Vermoo is controlling the field. Medium compound tyres. He should still have pretty decent grip. They're only 8 laps old, and we've done a few laps behind the safety car, so it should be still pretty good. Yeah, it's happened quite a few times, Brovibot. Formula 1 is a dangerous sport. It's a very, very dangerous sport. Motor racing as a whole is a very, very dangerous sport. Through the final chicane and onto the main straightaway. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, Chase is just coming into pit lane. Okay. We begin lap 17 of 35 here at Montreal. We're closing in on the halfway mark, and it's Vermoo who leads the way. Silkweaver in P2, half a second behind as Vermoo gets a little sideways out of turn 2. Red Devil occupying P3, 1 second behind. Doing an alright job so far, Mr. Red Devil. He's kept mostly out of trouble after... Oh, Wingett's out. Oh, he's crashed. Oh, we have another safety car. Oh, my goodness. What happened here? Wingett went... Oh, he spawned. Well, his front wing, I saw that, was at the outside of turn 4. So, Wingett evidently found the barrier and he destroyed his car. He might have had help, I'm not totally certain, but we're now down to 11. Alright. Another safety car. Oh, goodness. Because, Brovibot, there is a mandatory rule that you have to use at least 2 compounds during a dry race. You need to run at least 2. That rule only becomes changed once there's rain involved. If it starts raining, then the rules are dropped. You don't need to use 2 different... Ah, hello. That's a drive-through penalty for Chase as I interrupt myself. Speeding during the safety car period as he passes Nortec. Why did he pass? Oh, he's cutting the grass. Oh, he's doing lawn mowing. What on earth is what? I don't know why. Chase driving a bit weird there. Passing Nortec. Anyway. Yeah, when it starts raining, there's no mandatory compound requirement. Yeah, Chase invented a new corner at turn 4. Much more open chicane. Calls it the Vettel line. I love safety car periods. Ferrari lawnmower corner. I love safety car periods. They're so long and uninteresting. Nothing happens. Alright, Chase. Oh, come on. Why? He retired. He just went into pit lane and retired out of the race. That's alright, Cam. I've got this covered. Yeah, both Warren and Saint look alright with no penalties next to their name. But you gotta remember as well, this is Montreal, and we still got a fair few laps to go. So the likelihood of drivers getting penalties is still exceptionally high. So I wouldn't be surprised if everyone left ended up getting time penalties. I honestly wouldn't be surprised all 10 drivers got a time penalty at some point. Because this is Montreal. This is sort of how it works here in the F1 game world. So easy to get track limit warnings around here. Alright. Safety car's going to tootle back off into pit lane and we're going to have another crack at this. Yeah, I noticed that, Cam. At the turn 10 hairpin. It was a bit of a bonk between yourself and Mr. Red Devil. Alrighty. When does Vermouth take off? Might bring up telemetry, see what happens, eh? Whoa! Gee whiz. Alright, he takes off and he switches on the battery as well. Switches it into overtake mode. Has to pull away a little bit from Silkweaver. Just flings it through the final chicane. Awesome. 6.5 tenths. The gap between the top two as Saint passes Warren. Warren goes deep into one. Trying to have a look around the outside. As the two bulls run wide, Kryptonic has the opportunity to take 2 for 1 at turn 2. And he does. He moves through into 5th position. Warren back through into 6th. And wide is Saint. He drops down to 8th. Orlando moves up into P7. Mindset having a look down the inside here at turn 6. Round the outside at 7. And there goes Warren. Dropping down to 7th place. A poor run through turn 7. Down into the chicane. Turns 8 and 9. Oh, Mindset gets a mega run. Tries to draw alongside. Into the hairpin here at turn 10. Looking round the long way. Contact between those two. Saint gets better drive compared to the Haas. That Haas has got some decent straight line speed. It hangs on to P8. Down the Casino Straight towards the final chicane. It's tight between these three. Woo-hoo! And Saint passes the pair of them. How about that? Round the outside. Moves through into P7. Gee whiz. Not a bad effort, that is. Oh, Warren loses the back end briefly. Not sure if he got a little touch there from Mindset, but it was very close. But these battles do matter as well. This is the top 10. They all score points if they finish. Mindset moves through into 8th place. Down towards the turn 8-9 chicane, chucking it through. Nortec, he's in this fight as well in the Alpine. He's watched everyone in front of him battle away. Speaking of which, Schulz, Kryptonic side by side, exiting the hairpin. Kryptonic moves in front. He goes into fourth. Warren and Nortec are battling away, and the Alpine wins. He moves in front. He moves into P9. Warren can try and fight back. Probably not a good idea to do it into the final chicane, though, as Silkweaver gets by Vermouth. Vermouth maybe made a mistake at the final chicane. So Silkweaver's in front. Vermouth down to P2. Saint getting by Orlando. That is for P6. Orlando got a nice run. Not nice enough, I'm afraid. As Vermouth gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Man, I'm going flat out at the moment. There's so much stuff happening all at once. The chat's popping off. There's drivers battling each other, getting each other penalties. Oh my goodness. This racetrack provides nothing but chaos all the time. Schulz in P5, Saint P6, Orlando 7th, Warren with a 3-second time penalty as we head towards the hairpin at turn 10. Oh, dearie me, a dive bomb from Orlando and Mindset results in contact. The Ferrari was balked and through goes Nortec. He moves into P8. Vermouth retakes the lead with the help of DRS. Silkweaver moves back down to P2. Saint moves in front of Schulz. That's for P5. Goodness me, it's all happening at once. Calm down, fellas. I'm trying to keep track of everything. Nortec doesn't have DRS, but Mindset wasn't close enough to attack into turn 1. So he stays behind. Can't find a way through just yet. 3.5 tenths is the gap between the top two. Schulz and Nortec get 3-second time penalties. Through turn 6, round turn 7. I have to think about what corner that was for a minute. A bit of lag there. That's okay. It's all sorted. Round turn 8, round turn 9. Now Vermouth, can he put the hammer down, try and pull away from the cars behind? Be a bit tough, because those behind him will have DRS. Have that extra straight line speed. Mindset moves through. He goes into P8, Nortec down to P9. DRS open on Silkweaver's car. He'll close in, not by enough to attack, but to keep this fight alive between the top two. DRS again down this main straightaway towards turn 1. Gap sits at 0.6 of a second. Red Devil occupying P3, just minding his own business right now. He's in a very strong position when it comes to penalties. Cars in front, 6 and 5 seconds respectively. He's on the hard tyre as well, which should make it to the end of the race. So, Red Devil in a solid position. Same with Kryptonic and Saint, they're looking good. No penalties, and they've got fresh tyres. Or fresh tyres, 9 lap old mediums compared to 16. Those in front. Schulz behind Orlando. The gap is 2.5 tenths, and now Orlando's losing time to Mindset. Heading towards the hairpin here at turn 10. Mindset looks down the contact, more contact, as Schulz forced wide, almost into the barrier, and he drops all the way down to 9th. That was a big old dive bomb, and Schulz didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. And it drops him down to 9th position. Sure, you won't be too happy with that. Through the chicane. Oh, see how close Orlando gets to that wall. Gee whiz. Alright. Well, drama there. And ultimately, it was the Mercedes driver who got the short end of the stick. He was the most innocent party in all of that. He got absolutely shafted. And that doesn't help things. A 3-second time penalty for him. Oh, dearie me. Through the chicane at turns 8 and 9. The gap now sits at 1 second. Coming up to the DRS detection zone, so Silkweaver won't get any DRS assistance here. You only get DRS assistance when you're within 1 second of the car in front. No DRS for Silkweaver compared to Red Devil. Got that rear flap wide open. And look at the gains into the final part of the race. He had to brake early. He was carrying so much speed. And look at Saint right behind as we head towards turn 1. Oh, and Schulz gets another penalty. He's into pit lane. No front wing change. He's just saying, screw it. I want new tyres. I want them now. Away he leaves. He's your race leader, Vermeulen. He's got 1.3 seconds to Silkweaver in P2. Red Devil half a second behind in third, followed by Saint and Kryptonic. So a tight 4-car battle for second place. You can get penalties, Bravy Bots, by speeding into the pit lane. So there's a pit lane speed limit of 80 kilometers an hour, or 50 miles an hour. Saint gets awfully sideways at turn 10. If you enter pit lane too quickly, you'll get a 5-second time penalty, which will be added on post-race. Or you can serve it by stopping in pit lane in your pit box for 5 seconds. Either or. Red Devil into the wall! He's into the wall of champions! And fortunately for him, he's still mobile. He hasn't crashed. Do you see how hard he slammed the barrier? And his tyres are still, you know, on the car. Compare that to Mr. Duval, who merely brushed the barrier by comparison. And his front left completely imploded. That is nuts. Well, luckily for Red Devil, he is still in the race. Just needs to go into pit lane and get repairs. Get some new tyres as well. That's a shame. Now Mindset into 5th. He's into the top 5. Hunting down his teammate Kryptonic. Up towards turn 10. Locking up the front right. Nortec gets by Red Devil. Orlando gets by Red Devil. A lot of damage on that Williams. He'll come in though. Get him repaired and keep going. He needs to keep going. Saint is passed by Kryptonic. Kryptonic onto the podium in 3rd. Through the chicane. Sideways. A little bit sideways there from Saint. As Mindset closes in. Towards turn 1. Down the inside will go. Into the left-hander. He gets in front. He moves into P4. The Hasta plan. That's exactly what it is. And both of them do not have time penalties yet. That's the key word in this. Is yet. That's a lot of lag. As Chase has left the session. It seems that the lag has sorted itself out. Okay. We're all good now. Schulz sets a new fastest lap. That's not surprising. He's on fresh tyres and he's probably in Angie mode. So he's pushing right now. Red Devil will be doing the same shortly. So, but yeah, Haas have got a really, really strong position going for themselves right now. They don't have time penalties. They're in the fight for at least a podium. They've got fresh tyres. There's a lot of things in their corner right now. But again, this is Montreal. We've got a lot of laps to go. A lot of opportunity for something to go wrong. So they need to remain focused. Keep mistakes to a minimum. There's your race leader, Vermeulen. Here's Silkweaver in 2nd, then the 2 Haas's. Saint rounds out the top 5, followed by DK Nortec in the Alpine. We have Orlando, Warren Schulz, and Red Devil. That's who's left. That's it. Around turn 5, up towards turn 6 and 7. Kryptonic, he can find a way through. Probably on this lap, down the Casino Straight. He needs a solid run through this chicane and through the turn 10 hairpin. Schulz gets a penalty. Oh. Close. Very close to that wall on the outside. Alright, Kryptonic, he just needs a good exit here. So nice and steady at the apex. Getting back on the accelerator. It's not the best. Silkweaver got a better exit, but I think it's enough. Here comes the Haas. Round the outside. Silkweaver can't do anything about it. There we go. Kryptonic into P2. And Mindset's going to try and follow suit here. The RS Open using a bit of battery as well. The AlphaTauri's boxed in. Silkweaver tries to fight. Oh, contact, and around they fight too hard. And Saint gets sideways, trying to take advantage of the situation. Well, the pass at the end of the day worked. Mindset's into third. And it ultimately resulted in contact. Oof, it was tight. Oh, and a wiggle there from Saint as well at turn 6. He is pushing hard. Alright, Haas are now P2 and 3, and the only car left in front of them is Vermu in the Mercedes, who has a time penalty. 6 seconds to be exact. There is a very real chance of a Haas 1-2, but again, we got a ways to go. So, they need to make sure they keep their cars within the white lines. They need to make sure they keep their cars out of the barrier. This is going to be an interesting duel. We've got 5 laps to go. Lap 31 to 35. 5 laps left. So we head around turn 2. Through the chicane at turns 3 and 4. The gap's sitting at 3.1. Vermu knows what he needs to do. Within the time that's left, he needs to build up another 3 seconds to Kryptonic. The trouble is, I'll bring this back up again, look at the tyre wear difference. We got 23 laps done with Vermu, with his set of tyres, compared to Kryptonic, who's on 16, compared to Mindset with 13. We had yellows out, I believe that was Nortec in the Alpine, bringing those out briefly. So Vermu, he doesn't have any sort of advantage when it comes to tyres, and look, it's costing him. It's now 2.4 seconds. So, yeah, it seems that Vermu might be fighting a winless battle here. But I do notice one slight thing. Just a slight thing. Look at the sky. There's not a hint of blue anywhere. If there's rain for the final few laps, it might spice things up and might turn things upside down. Nortec is in pit lane, so evidently his incident resulted in damage. And here comes Mindset round the outside. Oh, Kryptonic trying to hang on. The Haas's are battling each other. This is another factor that might spice things up as Saint moves back through into third position. There's an opportunity for a race win, and Kryptonic knows it. Mindset knows it. Maybe even Saint, if he can find a way to close into within 3 seconds of Vermu. Down the inside goes Mindset. He retakes third. 3.7 seconds, the gap between P1 and 2. DRS Open, down the casino straight, towards the Wall of Champions. Saint closes in, but it's not by enough. Back onto the main straight. A little bit of weaving there from Mindset. As we head towards turn 1. Mindset's close, but not close enough to pass. Stays behind in P3. 3.7 seconds is still the gap. 3 laps left. 33, 34, 35. That's it. This will determine the whole race. Round turn 6. Round turn 7. Onto the back straightaway. 3.4. The gap shrinks between P1 and 2. All it takes is one mistake from either Kryptonic or Mindset. That's all it takes. Just one little mistake. Around the hairpin at turn 10. Gap shrinks some more, down to 3 seconds. The increase is back up, so evidently Vermoo got a pretty decent exit out of turn 10. There's your race leader. With his 6 seconds worth of penalties. Here's Kryptonic, and he's dead set out of battery. 22% left for Mindset. A poor run for Kryptonic. Here comes Mindset to take second place away. The Haas's change places. Mindset into second. Kryptonic down to third. The track is getting darker, but no rain as of yet. With 2 laps to go. Bit of lag, that's alright. Had that over the course of this whole session. Just bits and pieces of lag. Tidy from the chasing pack. Mindset, Kryptonic and Saint. Driving pretty well here at the end of this. Got to keep it within the white lines though. It's a lot easier said than done. Locking the rears up, running wide. An opportunity perhaps for Kryptonic to try and find a way back through. He'll have 2 DRS zones to close in on his teammate. He won't be close enough to attack here. Mindset just has enough battery, I think, to keep him at bay. Oh, Mindset does a better job out of the wall of Champion Chicane. We now begin the final lap. Lap 35 of 35, and it's all down to the penalties. Mindset cut a fair chunk there of turn 1. He's cutting it close. 3.1 seconds to gap. Round turn 5. Up towards turns 6 and 7. The track continues to get darker, but we shouldn't get any rain. There's your leader, Vermoo. 6 seconds worth of penalties. It's ultimately going to hold him back. Get through another chicane with no time penalties. Out of this hairpin for the final time. And even if Mindset or Kryptonic get another, or get their first penalty, Vermoo won't be winning this race. Mindset's done enough to stay within 3 seconds of Vermoo. Up towards the line. Vermoo will cross the line in first position, but he will not stay there. History in the making. It's a Haas 1-2 here in Montreal. Mindset wins with Kryptonic second. Vermoo completes the podium places in third. Wowee. Happy Gene Haas noises. Yes, with the time penalties that Vermoo had, the 6 seconds worth of time penalties, it drops him back to P3. Mindset will win the Canadian Grand Prix. His teammate Kryptonic home in second. Wouldn't this be a sight to behold one day? A Haas 1-2. Don't say that all too often. Mindset, his first race win here in the AM1 Championship. Kryptonic home in P2. Vermoo, another podium. P3. The unofficial results then of the Canadian Grand Prix. Mindset is your race winner from starting 14th on the grid, retiring out of qualifying, joining midway through. Starting towards the back, he will end up winning with his teammate Kryptonic starting 11th. He will finish on the podium in P2. Vermoo completes the podium places in P3. Saint P4, followed by Orlando P5. And then Silk Weaver in 6th, followed by Devil in 7th. Warren 8th, Nortec 9th, and Schulz rounds out the top 10 with fastest lap, a 1 minute 11.989. 5 retirements out of this one: Chase, Wingett, Cam Tizzle, Mr. Duval, and Badfast, all retiring from this race. 15 cars started, 10 finished, and we have a Haas 1-2. How about that? Sadie's 1-2 after qualifying results in a Haas 1-2 in a race. Imagine if that actually happened in real life. I reckon just about everybody in the F1 community would go berserk if that ever happened. To be honest, if we'd ever see a Haas win a race or even finish on the podium, I reckon we'd all go berserk. So, yeah, there it is. The America-mobile. How good. Mindset with his first win. Kryptonic P2. And Vermoo will more than likely extend his championship lead over Silkweaver. So, happy days all round. A tricky event, as I said it would be. It's Montreal. The amount of areas where you can get track limit penalties is ridiculous. So it's not a surprise that they played a huge factor in today's race. Some drama as well, collisions, incidents, we had everything. At the end of the day, yeah, they ended up having a pretty good finish. So I'd say it was a pretty good stream all around. But I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's now time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you next week for round 6 of the AM1 Championship. In my neck of the woods, Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. Should be fun. Should be quite dramatic as well, considering it's Albert Park. But until next time, it's goodbye.